Hey guys, welcome to a rather spectacular Straits of Gibraltar. We're here in Microsoft Flight Sim with the pre-release version of the MV-22 Bravo by Miltech, and we're going to take it on a mission profile that takes us from this vessel over to RAF Gibraltar, which is in the 12 o'clock. And we're going to include a lot of things in this mission. It's not intended to be a tutorial style video, but we will be covering a full startup process, use of the lights, use of navigation, autopilot, tip lights, and what else do we need to do? Recovery back at the other end, we're going to do a transition to the hover and landing at Gibraltar. Now, I've mentioned that this aircraft is pre-release, so it may not be representative of the final product. If you see anything that is slightly buggy, then rest assured it is still work in progress. Here we are in the cockpit, on the deck, and it looks pretty darn fantastic. We have the weather by SoFly Weather Preset Pro. It is big and bold. The carriers, like I said, or if I didn't, they're included in the pack that comes with the Osprey. And the sound effects in the background, there's a little bit of FS realistic going on just for that added immersion. So let's get started. Parking brake is lower left, that is on. We're clear all around. We're going to switch some electrics on, so we'll start with the battery on the overhead. With the battery power on, we can now put the PFDs on. You can only put a couple of PFDs on because you need the APU for the rest, which is a nice touch. But you can get the central panel open. The central panel gives you access to the lighting. So LTS, master control on the right hand side, strobes, bottom strobes, position lights to tail, position lights dim, steady, and I think that'll do us. So we've got lights on. Now we're going to switch on the APU. APU's overhead, all the way down to, or round to, run and engage. With the APU running, we can switch the rest of the panels on, and we can also switch the lighting on. As a point of preference, I prefer to have the PFD in front of me here. Things to note on this PFD is the nacelle angle. There's a green arc that you need to make sure your nacelles are in. More on that later. The vertical velocity indicator on the right hand side currently showing level. If it goes higher than the 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock, it's going up, and below you're going down. Important to reference that, and I'll talk more of that later. On the right hand side, we can check the stats and the fuel. We have sufficient fuel for the mission, and we can scroll through FCS, engine, ice, and electrics. On the system page, the BFWS page, we can make sure prior to going that we have ourselves flight ready. And the reason why this isn't flight ready is because you'll see that our nacelles are in the horizontal position. So the APU started, we can tilt them upright. How cool does that look? If you have a look on the PFD, we've stopped it almost in the vertical at 89. That is good enough for me, and you can see the flight ready is now engaged. The rotor lock is off. Now we can check in the overhead, the rotor lock is off as well. Now we've done that, I'll go back to nav, and I guess it's a good time to set up our navigation. So the Tangier VOR, which is what we're going to be using, that is over there somewhere, is 1159. So if I go CDU, VOR1, 115.9. You have to write the zeros in 2 before you press enter. That is engaged. This is orientated slightly funny because I think it's track and we want heading up. That'll kind of match it to what we have on this screen here. I'll also set the course bar, which is on this panel here, to roughly 050. I'll set my heading 050 for the autopilot. My speed for the cruise 180 knots. Like that. The altitude can be, I don't know, 5,000 feet will do us. And I think that'll just about do for the autopilot setup. If you click on the top right button on the nav page, you can also bring up this screen that gives you a pictorial representation. And you can change the range scales and see what our routing is roughly going to be. Prior to start, I'll also open the door so my crew chief can get out and have a look around, and that's the switch up to the top left. There is an automatic function for these, whereby when you take off and start accelerating, they will partially close. So I'm going to do it manually today. How cool does that look? Okay, let's get starting. So we're clear all around. We've got the lights set where we need to. The parking brake's on. The rotor lock is off. The the engine we've left to left hand side. Now we're going to the start.
Clear.
It is normal for both props to start spinning. That looks like it's lighting off, and I could wait for it to start or complete its cycle, but we're just going to go for the left one as well. This is so cool. Alright, whilst we're waiting for that to complete, let's shut the doors. What I'll also be referencing during the takeoff is this little yellow percentage, currently 70%. And I think that's the one that you don't want to go above 98 for more than 60 seconds, or you overstress the engine and it crashes. When you start with the throttle all the way back, you've got RPM low, so I'll put the throttle up. That should remove the RPM low, and it'll also bring our hides into the amber range. Don't forget though, once your engines are started, you can put them into fly. Then we can switch the APU to stop. And right before we take off, we're going to go back to the lights. And we're going to put the position lights to bright and flashing. Menu 2, landing gear, auto. Okay, where are we at? The doors are closed, parking brake's still on, we've put the lights where we want them. Take the parking brake off. I think we're ready to go now. The nacelles are at 88%, which is good for me. We'll probably need a little bit of backstick once we get airborne. And a good technique I found is not to try and hover it off the ground, it's to push the power up and go through that ground effect. You can get into hovering quickly and smoothly, but not to exceed 98 on this little yellow number here. So let's give that a go. "96, 97, 96, and we are up." How cool does that look? Gears coming up. We'll translate to the left. Power's at 95%. That looks sweet. Very cool indeed. Okay, so we'll pedal turn in the direction we want to head. That kind of makes sense. I'll move the nacelles to about 78%. I'll keep an eye on the power, make sure it doesn't go above 98. And I'll look at the velocity indicator to make sure I stay level. As the speed increases, you'll notice the lift increases. I'll hold the pitch stable, and then I'll put the nacelles forwards. Just blipping them forwards to make sure that VVI, that vertical velocity indicator, stays level. And what you'll find is that will also roughly match the green arc. And that's a good way of getting you smoothly into a level transition without having to climb up or descend. Once you're through about 150 knots, you can get the nacelles all the way to the lower position, and now we're in airplane mode. Cool as. Let's put that power back up to about 95%. We'll climb on up. We can set the speed, the auto throttle to on. Have a little look outside whilst we're here. Awesome. Okay, enough of that. Let's carry on climbing up. We'll go for heading hold first. Probably need a little bit of vertical velocity as well. On the hold, go arm to activate, and I guess, what have we done? Hold, heading hold, speed hold, vertical velocity, 2,000 feet, climbing up to, I hope, 5,000 feet. Cool. That's the autopilot. If I change the course a little bit, you'll notice the course deviation bar comes in. And I guess about there, if I set the heading to the right, the aircraft will follow the heading. You are through 4,000 feet climb to 5,000 feet. And then I can select approach mode capture, and that should capture the ILS. Not the ILS, the VOR. What am I talking about? But it also looks like that levels you out. But you know what? At that stage, I'm happy. We're close enough. It's more my ignorance on how to use it. Whilst we're here then, speed stable, altitude stable, tracking outbound. We know where we're going because it's over here. Let's have a look at the prop tip lights. So in the lighting page, menu 2, tip light, top. That is cool. That is more cool. That is just awesome. How cool does that look? Now you can change it to bottom, which is the back of the blades, and we'll just switch it off for now. Okay, I've cheated a little bit in the fact that I've changed the weather. It's cleared up. Look at that. A bit magical. And now we can see Gibraltar. So what that means is navigation is complete. I'm going to remove the map because it's slightly distracting. I'm going to select heading hold. Let's put the heading appropriate so that I can change the course bar. So heading hold there. Now I can change the course to match the runway. 090. Nice. That's me set up for the recovery, and we're going to do a transition to a hover landing. I may even do a separate video on this because it's so darn tricky. Look at that lovely countryside. I'm also going to have to do a video with low level. Slightly outside the mission parameters today, but don't worry, I will take this thing low level. 2,000 feet a minute, down to 2,000 feet, down to 1,000 feet. Speed hold's not really coping with that. So we've gone to idle. That'll be low RPM. I'll accept it. In actual fact, let's deactivate the autopilot. That looks awesome. So I've got a fair few techniques in how to get this smoothly into the transition. And I'll talk them through as we go, but I may do another video on it. Takes a little bit of confidence, and I recommend having the cowl flap 4 keys bound to something on your HOTAS, preferably on your throttle, so that as you're reducing or increasing power, you can change where the nacelles are at the same time. If you're using it on the keyboard, then you'll need 3 arms to do it. Book says you can do it within about 1.8 kilometers. Found if you're confident with it, you can probably do it a bit quicker than that. And technique number 1 will be to start at about 150 knots. The maximum I think is 200. I like 150 knots. And then just prior to doing the nacelles, just to keep 75%, that small number just here, about 75, to allow the speed to come back. Also, don't forget to drop the gear, because you'll get very busy during the transition, and you don't want to forget it. That looks sweet. Okay, so I'm a little slow, but that's fine. Let's set the power 75. Immediately I'm going to set the nacelle straight to 30 degrees. You've got to make sure the nacelle angle stays within that green arc on the PFD. Don't increase the power, otherwise you'll increase the forward speed. And then as you need to pitch up, then apply some power and some back nacelle. And then balance it again just to keep yourself level. You will require a fair bit of pitch up during this interim position, but as you slow down below 90, you can bring those nacelles back, keep the speed coming back. If you put the power up, you'll increase in the speed. Now I'm at 65% nacelles and cruising in nicely. Look at the sun. That's beautiful. And probably need some gear. There we go. Gear's coming down. This is working out nicely. It's just that transition between 30 and about 60, 65 degrees on the nacelles. Just really tricky. Okay, as the nacelles come back to 85, increase the power a little bit. Don't touch down just yet, Chris. And now we are just about there. Even at the end there, I started to sink a little bit and had to apply the power as I put the nacelles back to the vertical position. Now, I recommend having the nacelles about 86, 87 degrees, slightly forward, so that you can have the pitch of the nose up so that the main wheels land first. At least that's what I reckon anyway. Now, VRS is also modelled in this, so if you're less than 30 knots, I think, and with a rate of descent of greater than 1500, you will find that it starts sinking very quickly. This is very cool. So I hope you've enjoyed the mission so far. If you're still watching, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, help support the channel, all very much appreciated. And I'll be doing a fair few videos with this, I'm sure, so let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. If you've got any questions, I'm happy to answer. And let's see if I can get a decent touchdown. Here we go. Careful, careful, careful. I'll take that.
I think you can do better than that.
Oh my goodness, thanks for that.